and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And we will get started. It is 32 minutes after the hour, and we wanted to make sure everybody could get signed in. But those of you who are on time, thank you very much. I am Debbie Fawcett with GED Testing Service, and very happy to invite you and welcome you to our special edition. We have a guest presenter today, somebody who is far more knowledgeable than I am about artificial intelligence. And the title, as you can see, is AI Literacy, Preparing Students for Success in a Digital Age. Next. For those of you who are familiar, you already know everything about before we get started. But to make this go as smoothly as possible, so you have the opportunity to hear and interact with our guest speaker, Vi Hawes, let's make sure, please mute your sound, your computer, your phones. It is very distracting, and nobody does it nobody intentionally leaves it on, I know. So I appreciate your efforts. We want you to use the chat function for your questions. Ann Evers and I will be monitoring, as will Vi, but we want to let her focus on her presentation, and we will read and respond or save for Vi's response any comments that we find in the chat session. I bet you we could all start answering how many times is somebody going to ask us, where are we going to find the PowerPoint, the conversations? We always post within give us 72 hours, give us 3 days to get the recording, the PowerPoint, and the certificate that you may download to turn into your professional development guru for credit. We get that posted at the link that's provided there on our website at ged.com. Go to Educators and Administrators tab, then the drop-down menu to Professional Development, and you will see this all posted. We put the title, the session description, and then for this presentation, you will have the recording. You'll also have the PowerPoint and PDF and the certificate. So with all of those housekeeping details, I would like to introduce Vi Hawes and let Vi take it away. Vi?
Yes. Thank you, Deb, for the introduction and for the logistics. Yeah, so again, this presentation, this recording, and any other resources I'll share today will be available on the GED website. Okay, so I'll continue to refer back to it throughout the presentation. And then before we move on, this will be a hands-on experimental presentation. So I'll do most of the talking. However, I would ask you to participate by putting your questions, your answers, and things like that in the chat box, okay? And then I'll read out what your responses are for everyone to hear and to see. Yeah. All right. Again, my name is Vi Hawes. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I work at Piedmont Community College Adult Basic Education for College and Career in Tucson, Arizona. I am also operating out of my LLC, VH EdTech Consulting. I am an English for Speakers of Other Languages instructor and the EdTech specialist for our program. If you want to stay in contact with me and learn more about what I do and the projects that I'm a part of, please scan that QR code. When you scan it with your phone, you'll then be prompted to save my contact info. So you'll have my phone number, my email address. These are the best ways to reach out to me. Okay, I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay. All right, today's agenda, all right, I'm going to talk about AI literacy and what it is, why is it important, especially for our adult ed learners. And then we're going to move into some activities where you're going to distinguish AI-generated images from real images. Okay, that would be the fun part. Then I'm going to explain a little bit about the benefits and the limitations and drawbacks of using AI. And then the last few activities we're going to do, these are great activities you can do with your students when you first introduce the topic of AI. So one of them is, what can AI do for you? And another activity is fact or fiction. And then we'll conclude with some final thoughts and leave room for questions. Again, feel free to put your questions in the chat box. And if there's any questions that need to be addressed right away, okay, I'll do my best to do that. I know Anne will also monitor the chat box for me. Okay. Okay, before we get started again, I want your full participation in this. Throughout the presentation, I want you to fill out this graphic organizer, either in your mind or on a piece of paper. Okay, this is the AEIOU graphic organizer. A stands for adjective. So think of a word that describes something you saw or learned. E stands for emotion. Describe how it made you feel. I stands for interesting. Know something that you found interesting. O stands for, oh, what surprised you? And then the last one, U, stands for, what questions do you still have? And what do you want to learn more about? All right. So make note of this graphic organizer and then fill it out as we go along. Okay. We'll come back to this and have you share out your AEIOU descriptors at the end of the session. Right. Moving on to the next slide. Okay. So AI literacy. So before I define what it is, I want to explain why it's important, okay? Especially for us in the education realm, as well as for our learners, okay? Why does it matter? So being AI literate will prepare us for an AI-driven future. So you've heard of ChatGPT and all of these tools coming out using AI. It's not a trend, although it seemed that way at first, but AI is not going away. It enhances critical thinking. I will explain a little bit more about that. It promotes ethical AI use, okay, if you are AI literate, and it fosters innovation. Okay. Some key benefits of having AI literacy in your back pocket. It improves digital competency, enhances research skills. You'll be able to have a bigger understanding of AI scope and what it entails, what it does, and then increases employability. And what I mean by that, so a lot of workplaces these days, there's a lot of automation, a lot of considerations of having AI to do a lot of the brunt work. And then a lot of job postings these days require their employees to have some background in AI usage, okay, some sort of AI literacy in order to be hired for that particular position, okay? Okay, so we're defining it. What is it, basically? AI literacy means understanding how it works, as well as deciding when to use it and then when not to, okay? AI has been designed to do all sorts of tasks, creating images, videos, texts, you name it, so the important thing is deciding to when to use it and then when not to. It also includes applying effective prompt engineering methods. So what is prompt engineering? It is basically the text that you input into, say, ChatGPT. There'll be a box to prompt you to put in a question or statement, something that you want it to create for you, right? That is called prompt engineering. So how you form the questions, the statements, and what you want the AI to generate for you. Okay. AI literacy also includes displaying digital adaptability, okay? Evaluating AI output, meaning after you put in your first prompt and ask ChatGPT to create something for you, then you'll need to evaluate what it came up with for you. You have to critically analyze if it's accurate. Is it ethical? Is it biased? Is it misinformed? Is it even good to use as a lesson plan, right? You have to evaluate the output. And then the most important aspect of AI literacy, we need to add human value. So always keep AI usage, keep it human-centric, okay? Okay. All of this to say, AI literacy involves understanding implications, the potential, and the responsible use of AI technologies, okay? Okay. So here's this first activity, AI or not AI, not this picture. But you'll be given various images. I'm going to go through the next slide, and you'll be given a large image. And you need to tell me in the chat box if this image is generated by AI or not. Okay, just by looking at it. Okay. So make sure you have your chat box up and ready to go. You can put in the chat box AI or not AI. And then I will reveal the answers once everyone was able to contribute. Okay. All right, here's the first image. What do you think? Is this AI or not AI? Okay. Ooh, a lot of AIs. Okay. A couple of nots. Okay, okay. Okay. So we have a consensus on this image being AI generated, yeah? Okay. Right. Did everybody get their say? Okay, I'm going to reveal. It is not AI because this is actually inside the Steve Jobs Apple Park. So it's just this large dome, this just commemorates Steve Jobs and all of his work. And just inside, it just looks surreal and ethereal. Yeah, it does look like it's AI generated, but it is not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like a spaceship. All right, I'm gonna go on to the second image. So I'll explain a little bit more on what to look for these images, but I just wanted to play along with you here with these images first. Okay, the second one, is this AI or not AI? Uh-huh. Ooh, okay. Huh. All right. A lot of people saying AI. I know. You're not sure just by looking. I'll give you some tips on how to determine if these images are AI or not. Okay. Okay. Some not, some AI, yeah, some good balance. All right. Let me reveal the answer. So this is generated by AI. So if you just type in the website called thispersondoesnotexist.com, you'll be immediately given an AI generated picture of a person. This person's never existed. Okay, so I just typed it in and this was the first picture it gave me. Yeah, so this is AI. All right, I'll move on to the next picture. Okay, what about this one? AI or not AI? All right. Majority of you saying AI. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Monica says not real, but maybe not AI. Okay. Interesting. All right. I'll reveal the answer. those of you who guessed AI, you are correct. This was generated by Google's Gemini. It is another AI chatbot that is also text-based as well as an image generator. So I asked it to create me a ramen bowl with a boiled egg and all the necessary garnishings. Okay. All right. What about this picture? AI or not AI? All right. People saying no, it is not AI. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Not sure. All right. Okay. I'll reveal it. This is not AI. Good job. For those who got it correct. The people in the background look fake. That is true. It looks a little obscure, but this was a real image. Okay. This is not AI. I know, I'm getting hungry too looking at these pictures. All right. Here's the fifth picture. AI or not AI? Tricky, tricky. Okay. Ooh, photoshopped. Okay. Hmm. All right. So some of you are getting really good at this. You're looking at some of the imperfections, anything that could be out of the ordinary. So this is generated by AI. And then one of you mentioned the hand looking really deformed. Now this could have been, yeah, it could have been a physical deformity. However, AI image generators are notorious for creating really bad appendages. Like for some reason, they cannot get hands and arms right. And so it's always a dead giveaway when you're looking at an image, and if you look at the fingers or the hands, if it looks out of place, then you know it's AI. All right, how about this one? AI or not AI? Okay. A lot of you saying not AI. All right. All right, very good. Okay, you're correct. It is not AI. All right, and here's this last one. AI or not AI? Okay. AI, everyone's saying AI. Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll reveal it. So this was AI. This was created by OpenAI's Sora. So OpenAI is a company behind the creation of ChatGPT. They announced, I think, earlier this year on their video generator called Sora. Okay, they're able to render this video footage. Okay, yeah, it looks a little uncanny, but you can still tell it was generated by AI. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I mentioned earlier, like all these images, it kind of throws a lot of you off, whether they're AI generated or not. okay? So I'll explain a little bit about some of the differences between human generated content versus AI content, okay? A lot of the times, things created by AI, like ChatGPT is a chatbot, which is you put in a text, it generates something for you. It is often based on really specific patterns in vast data sets. And a lot of the times, it doesn't have that human aspect behind it. Versus human created content, it reflects personal experiences, creativity, and a nuanced understanding, right? So a lot of times you can tell. Yeah. And again, the key difference is AI content may lack emotional depth or real world context, okay? And human content has more nuanced perspectives. Okay. So these are some tips on how to distinguish between AI generated images from real images, okay? It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it does help you. It helps you critically analyze what you're looking at. You don't immediately take it with face value, okay? So some of you have already been looking at it very carefully. You look for imperfections in your images. AI created images can have flaws like unnatural eye reflections or blurred edges that real photos do not. Okay. Then you look for distortions in your images. Sometimes AI models really struggle with lighting and shadows and motion blur. So if you're a photographer, you know what I'm talking about. So that because AI struggles with that, there will be a lot of inconsistencies that gives it away for being artificial. And then, if possible, you can analyze the image metadata. You can check for it by the camera model. So a lot of times if you right click on an image and select more information, the image usually gives away the model, the lens type, or the timestamp. And a lot of the times AI generated images often lack that data. And you can actually use ChatGPT and its attachment feature. You can attach the photo that you want to find metadata on, and you can ask it if it's able to find any of that information. It's not perfect, but that's another way to do it. All right. Okay, I'm going to introduce to you a resource. It's called Say What You See by Google. So Google created this little experiment in which you and even your students can learn the art of image prompting with the help of Google AI. Okay, so let me navigate towards that. Okay, one moment. Okay. All right. So everyone should be able to see this picture of a brain with the thought bubble, correct? Yes, very good. Okay. So this is a great resource if you want to practice prompt engineering or putting in statements or questions to ask your AI to generate something for you, okay? So there are different levels. So what you'll be doing is you'll be given an image, and then you're going to have to come up with a prompt to best describe that image. And then you're going to see if you can generate a similar image. Okay. So here it gives some examples, include information about the medium, the subject, and the context. A painting of a dog in a field. Okay. And what you have to do, you try to see if you can match it at 50% or more in order to move on to the next level. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to need your help here. So here over to the left is the image that we're looking at. And then over to the right, there is a space provided for us to type in our prompt. So how would you describe this picture? Use as much details as possible, and then I'll type it in here. So it looks like a cityscape, yeah. Chicago Street View, okay. Okay. Fishbowl image city, okay, okay. Yeah, is it fishbowl? Yeah, what angle is this at? Fishbowl, skyscrapers. Here, I'll do Chicago. Oh, I actually like Jane's description better. Here, I'll copy yours, Jane. A photograph of a city street taken at ground level. Okay. Yeah. I'll also include looking up. Yeah. Let's see what it comes up with. Wow, interesting. Okay. Not exactly similar, but we got some of the descriptions correct. 72% match. Not bad. Right? You kind of get the idea. This is a great way to introduce students to prompting, and you can learn to better be detail oriented in your prompting. Yeah. So this one, I think it's is it bronze or is it wooden? It's wooden, I think. Wooden horse statue, galloping, trotting. I think trotting might be better. There we go. Yeah. Or prancing. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. And down at the bottom too, the little brain character will give some tips on how to better improve your prompts. Include information about the style. Is the statue realistic or abstract? Yeah. So this resource is called Say What You See by Google AI. Okay. I'm going to exit out of here. Okay. Say what you see. Okay. I can share this in the chat box here. Again, the links to everything that I'm sharing with you today will be available in the GED website. All right, I'm going to go back to my presentation. All right. Right. Here are some benefits. There's benefits to using AI, and I wanted to address these. Using AI, a lot of these tools are available 24/7. These tools offer around-the-clock access to information and assistance. Students can learn at their own pace. An idea is to have a student use it as part, maybe like a tutor, a personal tutor. So I know a lot of my English language learners use it to practice their English. So they'll practice having a conversation with the chatbot. Okay. Okay. And then it can also provide personalized learning. Okay. A lot of AI is designed to adapt to your preferences, into what you've been inputting, maybe like what level you teach or your students' learning styles and needs. It can provide tailored content and feedback. If you have used ChatGPT before or another tool, you learn that you can create lesson plans. You can ask it to create a lesson plan for you. Project ideas, quizzes, right? With AI, it saves us a lot of time. And enhanced efficiency. Automating these tasks that takes up so much of our time, okay? it enables us to then allocate all of our efforts and time with our students, giving them more feedback, helping them one-on-one, right? Yeah, Kathy says, I've created GED style questions. Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so here's the next activity I'm going to have you do. It's called What Can AI Do for You? So this is something that you can do with your students when you first introduce the topic of AI. I'm going to give you 4 options. The first one, you can create a recipe. You have rice and tomatoes at home. Ask ChatGPT for a simple recipe using these ingredients. So that's the first option. The second option is creating a fitness plan. You want to eat healthier and stronger. Ask ChatGPT for a fitness plan. Okay. Language learning. Use ChatGPT to figure out the best way to become more fluent in speaking English. Or if you're feeling adventurous, you can create your own prompt. Okay? So for those of you who have not used ChatGPT before, I'm going to put the link to ChatGPT in the chat box for you, for your convenience. You will be able to ask ChatGPT to create something for you, even if you don't have an account. You're not required to have an account, okay? But for those of you who are more experienced, you can use your favorite AI tool if you have it. Okay, so choose one out of the 4 options here. So while everyone is doing that, I am going to demonstrate it on my end. All right. So here's my ChatGPT. So I'm gonna have it create a recipe for me. Okay. I have rice and tomatoes at home. Help me create a recipe with these ingredients. Yeah. Let's see what it comes up with. Tomato rice. All right. That sounds pretty good, actually. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't specify any other ingredients other than the rice and tomatoes. So it's interesting how it came up with rice. It doesn't know if I have rice or not, but let's assume I do. All right, some other ones. Okay, add cooked chickpeas, diced bell peppers, peas for extra nutrients. That sounds pretty good. All right, okay. Yeah. Here, Bella Luna provided another recipe, quick and easy tomato rice recipe. Notice we used the same prompt, but it gave us some different results. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, I'm curious what others have come up with. You can share it in the chat box. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna see what it comes up with for fitness plan. Not much contextual information, but we'll see. Ooh, 3-day weekly fitness plan. CrossFit inspired approach. Ooh, okay. All right. While this is generating, let's see. I use ChatGPT to create GED level math lesson plans. Okay. Now, Kelly, would you use that? What ChatGPT came up with? Marcia asked for a crochet pattern for a shrug that uses weight. Wow, okay. Very good. All right, this is what it came up with for a fitness plan. 3 days out of the week, it's not bad. Yeah. I might tweak it a little bit, but other than that, this is a pretty good plan. So Laura, you are able to save this. You can first option, you can highlight it, copy it and paste it onto a Google Doc or something, or you'll be required to need to create an account in order to save your prompts, all of the conversations here. So notice on the left, these are all the previous exchanges I had with it. So this comes with creating an account. Okay. Yeah. All right, very good. Let's go back to the presentation. It is free, although there are features that you can only access if you have a subscription. But again, you can just simply create an account. It's free, and you can just generate conversations with ChatGPT without having to pay. Yes, this can, well, on a work computer, yes, but use it with discretion. Okay. So the reason why I'm a little reluctant with saying work computer is because you need to be careful what you input into ChatGPT. Any information that you input in here, it will improve your user experience over time, but it also improves itself as a model. Okay, so it uses the data and information to improve itself over time. Okay, but you also have to be careful to not put in confidential information, like your student's name, personal information, address, phone numbers, things like that, in case of a data breach. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can we use AI to help score student writing? Again, be careful what you put in there. So if you want to score students' writing, you can do so, but just make sure the student writing doesn't include their names. It doesn't include any personal information. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to move forward. Okay. Okay. All right, this last activity, and I'll do this along with you. All right. This activity is to help your students critically analyze ChatGPT or AI's responses. Okay. So you're not required to work in a group, but you'll do this on your own. You'll be given 10 statements. Some of them are true. Some of them are false. Okay. You will required to use ChatGPT or another generative AI tool of your preference to research the truth of these statements. Okay. Then you will do a separate internet research to compare and contrast your results. Okay. After that, we will reflect on your findings and then go over some of the statements together. Okay. Okay. So I believe everyone has access to ChatGPT. If you don't, and for those of you who just came in, I'm going to put the link to ChatGPT again. What you will do, you're going to read through these statements. You can input into ChatGPT, is this statement true? Then type all of them in, see what it comes up with. Then you need to do a separate internet research to confirm those statements, okay? So the first statement is the population of the Earth is over 8 billion people. Hold on. I know you guys are jumping the gun here. Second, the Great Wall of China is visible from space. The third, elephants are the only mammals that cannot jump. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Chocolate comes from a vegetable. The world's quietest room is located in Minnesota. If some of you are from Minnesota, you can confirm that. Goldfish have a memory span of only 3 seconds. The Earth is the hottest planet in our solar system. Bananas are a natural source of antacids. And the last one, population of the world is made up mostly of adults. Okay. So even if you have preconceived notions about these statements, I want you to actually do research. So first, use ChatGPT, ask it to confirm these statements, if it's true or not, and then do a separate internet search. to compare and contrast, okay? All right, so I'll give you some time to do that. And then while you're doing that, I will answer some questions here. Let's see, all right. Yes, Nicole. So this recording, the slides and other resources I've shared with you today will be available on the GED website. I will refer back to it here soon. Okay, so there will be a repository of these resources. Okay. All right. Good, good. Okay. Let's see. So, I'm going to briefly demonstrate how you can input these statements, like the statements into ChatGPT if you haven't done so before. So I'm just going to move it over here. Okay, so I shared the link to ChatGPT. You should then be taken to a page where you'll be prompted to input your question or statement. Okay, so one of the questions, one of the statements is, the Great Wall of China is visible from space. Okay, so I'll just ask it as a simple question. Is this statement true? The Great Wall of China is viewable from space. Okay. Okay, this is what ChatGPT claims. Mostly a myth. Wow, okay. But then, even though this is what ChatGPT says, then I'm gonna want you to go on, open up another tab, maybe Google the statement and do another internet research to compare and contrast these answers. Okay. I'll give you some more time to do that. Okay, so here are the statements again. Okay, Sherilyn is great. Google search, well, now Google search does have Gemini embedded. So usually the first thing it comes up with is what Gemini comes up with. But then if you scroll down, there are other resources that you can look at. So I would recommend skipping over what Google Gemini says, and then just look at other web pages, okay, and confirm the information. Okay, that's a good suggestion, Rob. Thank you. All right. I'll give another 2 to 3 minutes to complete this, and then we'll go over the statements. Yeah, great, Maria. All right. Very good. Now I'll give you a clue though. Some of these statements are tricky, the way it's worded. All right, one more minute. So when I was creating this activity, I actually used ChatGPT to help me come up with these statements. Just to be transparent. All right, let's come back together. So we'll go over these together. I'm going to reveal the answers based on the research I've done and confirmed. Okay, so the population of the Earth is over 8 billion people, so that is true. All right, the second one is false. Despite popular belief, the Great Wall of China is visible from space, so it has to be a specific telescope and specific lens in order to see the Great Wall of China from space, but it is not visible to the naked eye. And this was confirmed by NASA. All right, so this is false. Elephants are the only mammals that cannot jump. All right, so why is this statement false?
Well, this is Margaret. I researched that one.
Yeah.
And according to National Geographic and some other good sources, there are other animals that can't jump, and for similar reasons. The rhinoceros, the hippo, they may be heavy, but the structure of their legs and their bones make it so that they have no springs for
Yeah,
starting.
wow. Okay.
Good stuff.
Well, there you go. Yes. Yeah. It's a little tricky. This statement is tricky because elephants are not the only mammals. Okay. Yeah. You have hippos, right? You have rhinos. Trying to think what else. Sloths can't jump. And I like a couple of you say, I can't jump either. Yeah, great. All right, the fourth statement. Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. That is true. All right. Chocolate comes from a vegetable. So I said this is false, but I've had mixed answers, mixed reviews on this. I'm curious what others came up with. Okay, so far everyone has come to the conclusion that it is false. Okay, oh, true. Okay, all right. Yeah, can someone enlighten us a little bit? Yeah, it's not a traditional vegetable. Yeah, chocolate comes from a cacao plant. Yeah, from the seed specifically. Yeah, great. Good. Okay. All right. The world's quietest room is located in Minnesota. All right. So this statement is true. I don't know if there's anybody from Minnesota on this call could confirm that. I forgot what the room is called, but if you go into this room, it is so dead quiet, you can actually hear your bloodstream. Again, that's from what I read. That's what people have said, so that's interesting. Okay, seventh one. Goldfish have a memory span of only 3 seconds. So this is false. All right. So does goldfish have a larger memory span? Can anyone confirm? Here, Sherilyn has confirmed that is not true. I had a goldfish that would come to the top anytime I walked into the room. Okay.
I don't know. I'm still stuck being amazed by the information about the quietest room.
Oh, I
being
see. Okay.
so
You're
cool.
good.
Wow, it's a specially built room. It's called
Yeah.
anechoic chamber,
Okay.
sort of a research room. designed to absorb 99.99% of sound.
Ooh, yeah.
Fiberglass acoustic panels.
Mhm,
Spending
mhm.
time inside can be disconcerting. There you go, aware of your own bodily functions. Most
Yeah.
people can't stay in the room for more than 30 to 45 minutes. Wowie, this is what Chat GPT is telling me. It's not what I researched, but
Okay. All right.
I'll look at their sources. Ah, okay.
That sounds about right. Yeah. And then in regards to the goldfish, so based on what I have read and researched, I think goldfish can actually remember things up to 3 months, so a little bit more.
Oof.
I'm not sure what they remember exactly, but
That.
Okay. The Earth is the hottest planet in our solar system. That is false. The hottest planet is Venus. Okay, here's the next one. Bananas are a natural source of antacids. That's true. I guess the next time you have a heartburn, you can try bananas to alleviate that. All right. And the last one. Okay. This is another tricky one. The population of the world is made up mostly of adults. Okay. So I said it depends. Do you know why?
What population are we talking about?
Exactly. What does it mean to be an adult?
Animals, yes, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of parts of the world, like at least in the US, 18 and older are considered adults, but other parts of the world might not, right?
Mhm,
Yep, the definition of adult.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Okay. So what does this teach our students? You can share in the chat box or unmute yourself.
Yeah, you have to check Chat GPT.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I thought, can you ask Chat GPT to cite its sources?
Okay. You can ask it to find the source or yeah, to cite the source for
Mhm,
the statement, right? You can be very specific in that.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so people are saying, check your research, critical reading, okay, digital literacy, verify from different sources. But even then, when you're doing your internet research, you also have to confirm the reliability of the website.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sharon, exactly. Learn to be a critical thinker. Good. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of I know ChatGPT does it, but there's a lot of other tools where they will cite sources to back up their claims. However, you also need to follow up and check those sources if they're reliable or accurate. Yeah. This teaches our students to be critical thinkers, to analyze the information given to them, right? Yeah, like May O'Brien says, don't believe what you read. Okay. Another great skill your students will receive is just all these important reading skills, right? Reading for gist, scan for specific information, and then for all the sources that they're looking at, making sure that the website that they're looking at is reliable, right? .org or .gov or .edu websites versus .com websites, okay? Yeah. Very good. Right, I'm gonna move on. Okay. So a lot of you have already kind of experienced a little bit of the limitations of AI, okay? One of it being lack of emotional intelligence, okay? It can't replace human empathy or intuition. Okay? There is potential misinformation, right? So AI can produce convincing but incorrect information. So this is where we need to teach our students as well as improve our own critical thinking skills, okay? And there's bias. Because of these data sets, all of this information given to these AI tools to be trained on and then to improve on itself as a model, improve user experience, okay? A lot of this information can be biased. It doesn't represent everybody. It doesn't represent a marginalized community or these particular group of people of color, right? Yeah, so this could potentially lead to an unfair treatment of certain people groups. Again, that leads to more misinformation. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Rob Wilson said, I read a news article about a lawyer who used AI. A fabricated court case did not go well. Yeah, well, there you go. So that's one of the bad examples on using AI. Unethical ways, right? Okay. Data privacy and security. Okay. I mentioned this previously about risks of inputting very confidential personal information into these chatbots. Okay. A lot of these tools often require access to sensitive data, but there are risks of breaches and misuse. Okay. And then reduced human interaction over time. There's a risk that we over rely on AI that can lead to reduced human interaction. Okay. So instead of keeping it human-centric, we solely rely on ChatGPT for everything. Okay. All right. So despite all of these limitations, okay, so how do we combat all of these limitations? Data privacy, security, the lack of human interaction, the misinformation and the bias, okay? So here are some tips here, okay? Critical thinking is key. Right? This is where we as the teachers play a really important role, okay? We want to emphasize the importance of questioning and verifying AI-generated information, okay? We want to equip our students with analytical skills, right? This is going to be really important as they continue on with their lifelong learning and beyond, okay? Use AI as a tool, not a replacement for human interaction, right? Stress the importance of human creativity and insight. So I know when ChatGPT was first introduced and there was just a lot of fear mongering and just a lot of concerns with cheating, with misuse, with unethical use. And so there's just a lot of fears behind using AI, a lot of reluctance. I watched a video describing a bit about what AI is and what it's capable of, what's not capable of. And one of the things that it mentioned, and it made an impression on me, is it's not about us versus the AI. It is about us plus the AI versus the task at hand. Okay, so we can use AI as a tool, as an assistant, but never to replace us, to replace humans, right? But AI is a great resource and a tool to help us with the task at hand. Yeah. Yeah, Anne says that, yeah, you can use it as a thought partner. Yeah, to bounce ideas off of. Okay. Okay, continue to learn, right? Ongoing learning. Stay updated on AI developments and embrace lifelong learning. So this is something that I want to challenge a lot of the adult educators who's been in the field for years. I know with adult education, we want to model what it looks like to have lifelong learning. And we want to do the same. We want our students to do the same. So we cannot expect our students to be lifelong learners if we ourselves are not lifelong learners. Okay. So with AI, I don't think AI is going to go away anytime soon. And this is going to change the landscape of education, of the workplace, of everything that we know of. And I think it's important that we continue to learn about it, but also analyze, be critical, but not to completely ignore the influence of AI. Yeah. Yeah. And Anne says AI will never be available on the GET test as as an option for our students. Yeah. But I think it's important that we are familiar with what AI does, what it is capable of, and then to inform our students on the same things. Okay. And then yeah, just consider some ethical uses. So what does it look like to model the right use of AI? Okay. Discuss the ethical implications of AI in education. Address privacy concerns and responsible use. A lot of tools these days have agreements before you create an account or you use it. A lot of the times it addresses how it uses data and things like that. So being familiar with their policies and how they use the data and other information, okay? Yeah, and then if you're reluctant in having your students using AI in the classroom because you're worried about cheating or plagiarism, right? You can model what it looks like to use AI ethically. Okay? What that means is, so be transparent, use AI with your students, right? For example, if you don't want your students to completely rely on using AI for their essay, so instead set parameters. You can say you can use ChatGPT or AI in the brainstorming session, only the brainstorming process of the writing, right? Or set another parameter. You can say create your rough draft and then use your rough and then ask ChatGPT for feedback on your rough draft. Yeah, right. So setting parameters and modeling what it looks like to use AI ethically. Okay. All right. So we come towards the end of our session, but I would love to hear from you again. So at the beginning, I asked you to fill out your thoughts on in this graphic organizer, your AEIOU graphic organizer, right? Throughout the session, I wanted you to write out your thoughts and some descriptors describing what you've learned today. So anyone want to share a bit about what your adjectives are? List a word that describes something you saw or learned. New, yeah. Distortion. Okay, interesting. Oh, fun. Okay. Adjective, lifelong learner. Okay, all right. I like that. Innovative, enlightening, useful, interesting. Okay. Great. Great. Yeah. All right. What emotions have you felt throughout this presentation? Hopefully you're not angry. Let's see. Excited, intrigued, curious. You didn't feel overwhelmed. Okay, that's good. Confused at times. That's okay. Guarded but excited. Huh? Okay. Yeah, AI continues to overwhelm me as well as fascinates me just because just how rapid these AI tools continue to improve and update on themselves. All these tools being thrown out, all these different companies using their own AI tools, and it's really hard to keep up sometimes. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, what is something interesting you found? Prompt engineering, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. The way, yeah, the Google resource. Okay. All right. Research capabilities, yeah. Okay, how easy it is to use. Yeah, yeah. It is. Take some time to learn. Ethical considerations, yes. How much information is available as resources? Okay, good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Huh. Along the lines of that, what surprised you? Some of you have already said about um, just about all the different AI generated images versus the real images. Okay. What surprised you? Oh, Kathy said how well I did at identifying AI versus real. Great. That's a very important skill to have. Something that you can pass on to your students. Okay. Okay. AI is not the threat I assumed. Okay. Great. Mm-hmm. How easy it was to use. Not a bad thing. How fast you can find something you need. AI images are so close to real images. And like I mentioned before, these AI tools will continue to improve on itself as a model. So the images will become more realistic. Like there's already been deep fakes out there where there are videos that they capture like faces of real people and attach it and create fake content, right? Sharon says, I don't trust my ability to score the essay. Okay, this would give me practice. All right, great. How to use AI? Oh, okay. How to use AI to learn foreign languages? Okay. All right. So this opens up. So I wanted to leave some time for you to ask your questions. This comes to our last letter here. What questions do you still have? And then what do you want to learn more about? So I wanted to create this time and space for you to ask your questions, and then me, Anne, and Debbie will do our best to answer them. What keeps you puzzled? Yeah, AI for Education is a great resource to explore lesson plans and ways you to integrate it into the classroom. AI for Education is designed specifically for K through 12, but it's still very valuable for adult ed. Okay, so let me show you here a bit. So they're a nonprofit. Their goal is basically to demystify AI and then how we can use it and leverage it in our classrooms. Okay, so I love their resource hubs. So they offer free webinars and courses on AI, but my favorite is the prompt library. Okay, again, I don't want to overwhelm you with more information or resources, but this is to help you if you are still new to prompt engineering. So they have a repository on different topics and things that you can use for ChatGPT. So for example, rubrics. So you can highlight the prompt and then copy it and paste it into ChatGPT. But then, add the specific information you want, like you can describe it, you're teaching advanced ESOL, or you're teaching ABE reading and writing, this particular NRS level. Okay. And then let's see what it comes up with. Let me share that with you in the chat box. Okay, let's see. What other questions do we have? How ethical is its use given how often I see concerns of the extreme power concern? Yeah. Have there been any developments in the inability to own anything produced by AI? Okay, that's a really good question. So what he meant by power consumption. So there are facilities in which it is used to power a lot of these AI generative tools. And it takes so much energy and power, more than, what a computer normally uses, just to create, just for one prompt. It takes up so much energy. It's not sustainable. So I honestly am not familiar with this area, but I know that there are companies that are working to try to reduce the use of how much consumption these tools have.
Hi, this is Anne.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
there's a
Anne.
lot of stuff going on up there about like Google owning nuclear reactors now, and they're setting them up. The power is unreal of how much these cloud-based work is taking up. So there's a lot of question marks still out there, Rob. In terms of owning what you produce from AI, I tried to answer it in the chat about copyright issues. If you're not going to be copyrighting your work, like, so for the GED test, we can't create anything from AI because we can't copyright any of our items, our test questions, if you're generating it from AI yet. They don't, the copyright company office won't recognize that. So there's a lot of questions, many legal questions surrounding AI, like that kind of thing. But yes, that energy consumption one is a big one, and
Yeah.
it's still up in the air.
Yeah, and that does prevent a lot of people from using AI because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's any other questions that you all have, so like writing lesson plans and things like that, but what I was just talking about, and I put in the education, AI for education, there's a lot of really useful tools out there for teachers to work on those kinds of things. But we're really looking forward to hearing from you. So even if you want to drop me a line, like Sharon, if you want to reach out to me, my email address, talking about the scoring tool that will help you score your students' GED ready extended responses. We have a whole bunch of professional development things up there about the scoring tool. And then also there's some questions about our scoring engine of the extended response and how that was scored. I think everyone has a better idea now about the scraping of the internet, so to speak, of what these big models did. And that's how that bias and the hallucinations kind of appears, because it wasn't ChatGPT or OpenAI didn't only use what predominantly most of us use, the internet. It also used the dark web to scrape. So what it is, I'm looking at Sharon's face. it's I'm going to go on video just because I just called her out. It's scraping all of that. And so how we trained the automated scoring engine was on stacks and stacks, weeks of extended responses that we did on our standalone standardization test. And so we had so many different extended responses, and we sat down and we said, this is trait 1, this is a 0. On trait 1, this is a 1. On trait 2, this is a 2. So down to those traits, to those dimensions, down to the subdimensions, all the way down that, and we had stacks and stacks, and that's what we trained the engine on. They're called latent variables. So what does a 1 look like on trait 1? But what of those subdimensions on trait 1 how many of that would look like that to get the trait 1 and score it. So subdimensions are really narrowing it down into the properties of what that trait 1 would look like. And so if you go on our website, on our professional development site, there's a great session that Susan put together about how to use the scoring tool, how to use the subdimensions, and really get down into that nitty-gritty. But reach out to me if you have any questions about that. But I sat there, we trained, we had all the teachers in the room for weeks on hand. We would sit there and just be scoring, hand scoring. And then we trained the automated scoring engine. And I put in chat, the Spanish ER is hand scored. It is not scored through these other mechanisms. But we trained those hand scorers on Spanish extended responses. We just did not put that into the automated scoring machine. So those are all hand scored based on what we taught them how to hand score. And then the scoring machine is trained on all of the English. But I really recommend that one session on our professional development, Tuesdays for Teachers, delves really deeply into all of the scoring tool. And I made it automated. It's electronic, so it's really easy, much easier to use than before when it's a PDF. But Vi, it's been a really great session here. Does anyone else want to come off mute and have any questions for us that you want to talk more about?
No, I do want to address what Margaret said in the chat box. AI writes lesson plans so easily. Well, depending on AI distance me from my own content, right? What does it look like then? Like, will this be considered my work, my lesson plan that I generate versus this is AI's? And so, like, I loved Rob's suggestion to, proofread it and then make it your own, right? AI will generate based on what you provided in the prompt, but then you can then follow up with additional information. Like, I don't like this. Can you add add another hook activity or an exit ticket, something to then make it your own. But then this is also something you can learn about yourself, where you can set up a boundary for yourself when you're using AI. Maybe you don't want to use AI to generate lessons. Margaret, you said that you love lesson planning and sequencing lesson plans. That's great. I certainly don't. But you can then, set that boundary to create your own lesson plans. But then if you're stuck, you have writer's block, then you can maybe ask ChatGPT to come up with some ideas to brainstorm, right? So that's something that you can do for yourself, right? Knowing when to use it and when not to use it, right? As I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
I'm putting in the chat the location of that professional development that I just spoke about, because I see that there's a lot of questions in there.
Yeah, let's see. And then Jess asked the name of the professional development session about the response scoring tool.
So that's what I just put into the chat.
Okay. Got it.
And Vi and Ann, let me add, in what Susan Pittman and I have learned as we have done these training sessions, helping teachers, I mean, it's sort of like they can break the code of using that scoring tool. You're not going to get it the first time through. It takes what we found when we do these 3-hour workshops on just helping people understand and build their confidence in using the electronic scoring tool. We would say, we would see it in the audience after they would go through 2 or 3 written responses. All of a sudden, it started to make sense. For me, because I'm the kind of person that when I look at a full page of writing, my mind just goes, oh gosh, that's a lot to hammer through. But when you look at the subdimensions, you understand that all that writing on there are just different levels of engagement, from a 0 to a 1 to a 2. And if you go through each one of those, after you've graded about the 3rd letter, it starts to make sense to you. And that's what I'd urge you to do. You're not going to grab it first time through. It looks, I'm just going to tell you, to me, it looks a little overwhelming. But the fact that Anne put it in an electronic version where it does the addition and the scoring of the points for you makes a tremendous difference. And the beauty that Anne didn't discuss is that when you are finished and it adds up those scores, you are going to also see a prescription or an outline for where the weaknesses were in those answers. So you have your own sort of prescription to go through. And Jean Perini, thank you for adding this in. If you want to make a simpler version of the electronic scoring tool, Susan Pittman kind of condensed some of the information, but I don't think you want to use that until you have made an effort working through the electronic scoring tool itself. So that would be my pitch. Everybody seems to think it is daunting, and it is daunting until you take about 3 efforts at it with an understanding of what that tool is. All of a sudden, it becomes a lot clearer. That's
We
it.
so in line, Debbie, like, can you see what I'm writing in the chat? I'm like,
I do.
because
And
everybody,
yeah.
because everybody came here today, I'm giving you an extra thing, an extra tool, and it is from KET, and it's a great reflective tool where they go through their own writing. It's aligned to the 3 different traits, and it has some great information. But to the traits. But I'm seeing that I did not.
I don't see
There we
the
go.
link
There it is.
dropped in. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
All right, so if you have a look at that, you'll see that it's aligned to the 3 different traits, and it will say on argumentative writing, it will say, did you do this? And that's in, plain talk. But then it says, hint, if your teacher was to ask you what would you give it? So they're scoring it themselves on this reflective mode. So it's not really it's getting them to really start thinking about what they wrote. I think it's a really great tool to have in your tool belt for the extended response, because I'm so passionate about it. I'm not going to let it go.
And Jess, I do see, Anne, it looks like you dropped in. Did you drop in the general? Jess says he sees the list of PD sessions, but which one is the session? If we need to, I'll put the link. You all understand that we'll have all this information posted within 72 hours. I'll make sure we add the link specifically for the electronic scoring tool to make it a little easier for you to find.
Oh, for the scoring tool. Sorry, I put it in for the professional development part, but I'm going to put in the scoring tool right now.
Right. Well, while you are looking that up, Vi, I'm going to ask you if you would like to close out, and then I'm going to say our goodbyes and talk about our next session. So thank you again, Vi.
Yeah. So I appreciate everyone who took the time out of their day to attend this session. I hope that you are more informed about AI and what AI literacy entails and how important it is to be familiar with AI, and as well as empowering our students in using AI ethically, in addition to helping them leverage it in their learning. Again, this slide, other resources, and the recording will be available on the GED website. So let me just guide you back to the beginning of the slide where the link is, okay? So it'll be at GED.com, and then you'll find the Educators Admins tab, and then find the Professional Development page.
And that is in the chat. I put that one in the chat too.
Thank you. But yes, all right. Well, that is it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Vi.
Thank you. And
You
then
put the very last slide up. Thank you, Vi. Excellent job. The very last slide, we will be doing a session. Stephen Schmidt will do a session on December 10th, and that will be tackling test anxiety. We always put up our contact us at GED.com, because sometimes you can't remember our names. We're pretty simple to email, firstname.lastname@GED.com. But if you can't remember that, contact us at GED.com, and your questions will be delivered to whomever needs to answer it for you. All right? I want to say thank you to Anne and Vi, and for all of you, as Vi said, who gave us your time. Thank you very much.
Debbie, will the certificate, when will that be up? We're getting questions in the chat.
72 hours. It'll be up whenever we post. Give us 72 hours, give us 3 days, and you'll have the PowerPoint, the recording, the certificate for download, and I'm going to put some websites to make sure we get everybody to the right place for the electronic scoring tool.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We're going to say goodbye. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.